Hello, everyone, and welcome to Royalty, a Guelph Royals podcast where you get the opportunity to get to know our roster and everything that's happening with the team. I'm Teresa Skubik alongside my co-host Ryan Eakin, and today we welcome Brandon Deans. Brandon, welcome to Royalty. We're obviously super excited to have you on. And Ryan, why don't you give us a little rundown on Brandon's resume?
Yeah, Brandon became a Guelph Royal last season, and he had a nice first season with the team. Sometimes he was the starting pitcher for the team, and other times he was in the bullpen. And this season, mostly in the bullpen, but what an addition he's been because you go back to his outing Saturday against Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, we were just talking about it prior to shooting this. I mean, bases loaded, nobody out against that Toronto lineup, and Deans didn't allow one run. He ended up throwing 5 shutout innings, named player of the week for his efforts, and he's expected to be a massive part of this pitching staff for the rest of the season. So I'm definitely excited to talk to him today.
Well, welcome to the pod, Mr. Player of the Week. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, guys. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I don't know if you know how the whole podcast works, but we ask you a couple baseball questions, then we get into the nitty-gritty, but I think you can handle it. We've stumped some guys on your team, but I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
you'll be okay.
hopefully.
So we're gonna start with what made you get into baseball and how long have you been playing it for?
Yeah, so it's been a while. I mean, I can, just like think back there to when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I mean, it was just, one of those things where, where like your parents just kind of throw you in hockey, baseball, soccer, just, just kind of see what, see what you like there. And I mean, with me, it was, it was always baseball, hockey, and honestly, for a bit of it, like I thought I was going to be a, hockey player, but as I got older and kind of learned more like about the game, and going to a whole bunch of like Jays games with the family, it really helped me grow the passion there. And I hit about 16U there, and started to kind of grow and start to kind of see that baseball is an option there. And then I had no clue that if you asked me back then, or like ask my mom or dad, I don't think that they would be saying that that like I would be playing college baseball down in the States, playing for a team like Guelph. But it's been a while, and I mean, I can't thank them enough for all that they've done for me. But it's been a while. They're probably since 4 5 years old. I picked up a bat and just try to hit homers. So but now I'm obviously pitching. So it's just been great though my whole life. So.
Yeah, you're one of those guys in this league that have played both in the States in college and in Canada, and then also your time
Mhm.
with Guelph too, and then travel ball as well. So between all that, what's been your favorite memory playing baseball?
It's tough. I mean, there's there's been a few. I mean, I'll start with one here in Canada, probably T12 when I was at the Rogers Center. It was my first time being there. I was on the Futures Navy team, and I didn't get to pitch much in the like round robin as we got knocked out. But then it's Sunday morning, and I got a call from my coach Mike Steed, and he's like, hey, he's like, well, like asking if I'm free that day, and I'm like, well, yeah. And he asked me to come pitch for the green team there, and I didn't get to pitch. But then after the game, once we lost, then I got um, brought over to the Team Atlantic, and I got a pitch in the finals there, and I ended up throwing a no hitter with my teammate Caden Griffin, and that was just like honestly crazy. I know like I was still young there, 16 years old, and just again to pitch in the dome where there's been like some all stars there, and throwing a no hitter under the lights, roof was open. That was definitely one of my best moments here in Canada. And then for one in the States that I think back to was either my first college outing, worked so hard to like get down there and be a starter on that team, and getting to be the opening day starter for a team down there is definitely a big thing, being a guy from Canada. But I'd say that my best memory was when I pitched against the University of Dayton. It was 2 games that day, and I was in the pen the first game, and I was warming up the whole game, but we ended up winning 2-1. And then my coach came in and said, "Hey, like, are you good to start?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And then I end up throwing a complete game, 1 run, not earned, 12 Ks, and that was probably one, playing a team like that who was in a regional the year prior definitely really built some like confidence there. And and when I think back to my days in the States, that's definitely one that I constantly think about.
All right, Mr. Big Deal. Not bad for accomplishments, but we're gonna veer away from baseball a little bit and we're gonna get into the more tough questions. So, like I said, hopefully we don't stump you.
We'll see.
Uh, so firstly, if there is one place in the world that you could travel, where would you go and why?
Oof. It's tough because I haven't been outside of North America yet, but one place that I've always wanted to go is Australia. I don't know, it's just kind of, one of those things. I mean, like you watch on National Geographic and, like you see, like kangaroos, that kind of stuff. And like for some odd reason, I just want to go there, just like kind of see the, culture out there, definitely looking at, that at the like beaches there. I mean, like a whole lot of sharks there, so I'm not a big fan of that. But I mean, I'd say probably Australia just seems like a fun place to be for a bit.
Yeah, there's also a lot of guys in the IBL that go and pitch in Australia too,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And it's quality
yeah, no,
baseball over
definitely,
there, so that's always an
exactly.
option if you ever do head over.
Hope so.
If you could have one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Oof. I would go basic and say strength, but I feel like one thing would be to predict the future. Kind of one thing. I mean, I think it'd be cool to kind of have like a change on the world and thing, and possibly soften things that like if you knew what happened, or maybe be better prep for something that like could happen. But I feel like something like that would be pretty cool.
If you could like see what was gonna happen in the future, would you want to know what was gonna happen? Like if you could see your life in the future?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, so I could, if I do know, I could possibly, change things now, but also no, because I mean that's the whole point of life, right?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want any spoilers. Come on.
Exactly. I know.
What's your favorite holiday and why?
Probably Christmas. I don't know. Probably a basic answer again, but just that, time of the year where, like the families brought together, just get to, um share that joy with like your friends, family, neighbors, all that kind of stuff. And honestly like the food, big turkey dinner, ham, stuffing. I mean, that's probably my best part about it. Having my mom's turkey dinner on Christmas Day, and then probably having that for the next few days after. So but yeah, I'd have to say Christmas.
Honestly, like there's no wrong answers, but I feel like if you didn't say Christmas, it would have been a wrong answer. So Christmas is
Maybe,
by
absolutely,
far the best
yeah.
holiday.
For
Um,
sure.
what is your favorite movie and why?
Favorite movie? That's a tough one. I mean, there's a few of them, but I've honestly been a big fan of the Fast and Furious movies. I'm not sure if I like the soundtrack more, but I mean, each time that the new one comes out, me and my family make it I guess a kind of a tradition to go into the theater and watch it as a family. And again, it's just one of those movies that's always like intense. But yeah, me and my family love love watching it. So
If you could go back in time to any decade, what decade would you pick and why?
oof. uh, I feel like back in the '90s. I mean, like the late '90s. I mean, I feel like the fashion back then was kind of cool, and it's starting to like come back a bit. But like I've always been a fan of the mullets. I like recently got one for the junior nationals, and like I look back to when my dad was in like was in the '90s rocking the mullet. My mom hates it, but I just feel like being back in the '90s, life was easy, life was fun, and just like a whole different kind of like culture there. So I think that that back then was cool, and just like in terms of life, sports, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, you would have seen the Jays win a couple of World Series and all
yeah,
that, so
it's been a
it all
while.
worked
So
out.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. So for this one, you can't say Gart, and I say that to all these guys. But if you were stuck on a deserted island with one teammate, who would you pick and why?
probably Ben Reed. I don't know. He's just a guy who I kind of like bond with first, and me and him weirdly have like the same mind. I don't know, me and him, think very alike, basically, on and off the field. And I don't know, I think me and him would just maybe, have a chance to, make it off that island. But if not, if you do die, I mean, it's a fun guy to, die with.
I like that you put a positive twist on that. That's good.
Yeah, a bit.
What is the coolest fact about you?
Coolest fact about me. Oof. That's a tough one. I don't really know much, cool things about me. Probably that for my whole life, I had two African pet tree frogs. I got them back when I was probably in like kindergarten. Our school was like moving. It was a small little, private school, and we had to, change like buildings, whatever. And my teacher was like, "Oh, would you like these, frogs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And they honestly lasted like 18 years. So it's not many people have them, and I like used to have them up until a few years ago. But in probably not so much cool, possibly weird, but like that's the kind of one thing that I think about.
How did your parents react to you like bringing home tree frogs? I don't know why my
Well,
there.
oh, I think they asked my mom's like permission first, because if I did, I think it'd be going right back. But thankfully she said yes. And I mean, having them around, I mean, like it was cool to have them. And it's definitely not one of those dogs, cats, whatever. So I think that it was cool to have more of a non-traditional like animal slash pet in the house. I mean, wasn't much of a like interactive pet, just one that you kind of watch. But it was always cool to have around.
That is a very interesting fact. But lastly, who are you thankful for and why? Or what are you thankful for? Sorry, and why?
Yeah, so wait, who or what am I thankful for? What?
Sorry.
Like I'm like for sure thankful for all my family members. I mean, like my whole life, you know parents, grandparents, my sister. I mean, they've always been going without, just to have me go on these trips, back in like travel ball, going away for school for 3 years, and not seeing them that much, like only seeing them for Thanksgiving, Christmas. So going like without them was tough. And like I'm sure that like it was hard on you know them too, but to almost put their like feelings aside just for me to possibly reach that goal of going far and baseball. Definitely thankful for that. And like obviously thankful for my coaches and teammates from back to playing t-ball up until now. It's like I played for some very good coaches, and I played on some teams with some basically calling them family. And if I didn't have those teammates, coaches, I would definitely not be the person I am now. So thankful for basically like everyone in my life who I've encountered, who've helped me be the person that I am now today. So
Well, you mentioned having your traditions with watching Fast and Furious and also the Christmas traditions that you have and stuff. So it's super awesome that you got to share this with us, and great that you have such a strong support system and people in your corner. I love to hear it. But thank you so much for joining us today, Brandon. It was great to get to know you, and we look forward to watching you kill it the rest of this season. For Ryan Egan, I'm Teresa Skubik, and this has been Royalty.